Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining me. So today I have a recording of a live event that I did here in Asheville, North Carolina. The sound quality is not the greatest because we were in a very echoey church building and lots of background noises. But I think you can get the gist of what they're saying here. But just to give you a background on the subject matter, so if you've listened to my podcasts in the past, what they're talking about are the Pagamentos. And the Pagamentos is what I learned from the Mamos when I was in Costa Rica with them, the indigenous elders from Colombia. And Pagamentos mainly are just making sacred earth payments to the earth to help balance the energy from what we've taken and disrupted in the earth cycles. And they talk about different layers of payments here. And this isn't really a podcast in, telling you how to make payments as much as it's telling you that the energy behind what you're doing is the most important thing. So it's really that there are so many different traditions and ways of making payments to the earth that, for example, if you've studied Native American, people make a lot of tobacco offerings. And, you can make 1 million tobacco offerings, but if you're doing it with unconscious energy or not feeling clear about what your payment is about, then it's kind of like just walking in your friend's house and just throwing some money down the table and be like, yeah, thanks for being my friend, or just bringing rotten food or something, so you have to be very clear with your intention and that this is a specific reason, and just put your love behind it, even if you're making an offering of, releasing your sadness, that you're doing this as a way to honor the earth and honor whatever element is that you're making a payment to. So they speak upon that, and then at some point Mother Earth comes in and speaks as well, and just has a beautiful message from her, which was really very heart-opening and comforting for a lot of us to hear from her and hear her stance on the state of the world and that she's still in charge, which is very comforting. And to just know also that we are her children. And so she's still, choosing to love us, and we just have to return that love to her so that she can be nourished as well. But I will let them do the talking, and I hope you enjoy this podcast. Thank you. So now we're coming in to speak to you about the Pagamentos, the earth payments, the energy of reciprocation. And yes, the energy that you put behind these payments is the most important thing. So make sure that your energy is clear, that you're in a clear space when you make these payments. It's not something to loosely do. And we're even speaking to Cindy because she's been doing a lot lately and she needs to really tighten it up a bit. Yes, so the energy of hair given to the earth. We want to speak about this because Cindy has been losing a lot of hair lately. And we wanted to speak to her and to all of you about this because when your body is in rhythm with the seasons, you may start to know the seasons just based on how your body feels. The more you become in harmony with the earth, the more you really start to feel the earth's cycles. And you'll wonder, why am I losing hair? Or why do I feel so inward today, or why do I feel so energized on this day? It's because you're in tune and harmony with the cycles of the earth. And because of your busy lives, you tend to make this wrong. Like, I feel like I need to nap today, or feel like I shouldn't work, or I should do nothing, or I should go out and do something, or, when you're working and you're supposed to be resting with these cycles of energy, of the energetic flow, and you don't do it, then you become out of balance and you become more tired. And this is where tiredness and fatigue and things can happen in the body, where there's disruption, because you're not in that natural sync and rhythm. So one thing that Cindy has been studying is the Mayan calendar, and there's different, what they call wave spells of energies that happen every 13 days. And this is a similar energy frequency that kind of maps the energetic highs and lows and pathways and what's building, what's rising, what's creating, what's blooming. So it's important to find some source that resonates with you. Most of them are pretty accurate in different ways. We're not really recommending one or the other, but we're just saying to follow even the Farmer's Almanac. There's a way to really just get in tune with, like, what do the plants need right now? What are the seeds requiring? Is it time for me to plant seeds for the spring? Well, then maybe I should be planting seeds in my life, setting those intentions. And so when you can follow the cycles of the earth, then you can ride those energetic frequency waves where there's like highs and lows, and there's like stronger energy and more withdrawn energy. And so when you want to release something, that's the time when the energy is more withdrawn. You want to go inward and kind of dig deep on things. And then in the fall, we're releasing a lot. So she's releasing a lot of hair right now. Just as the leaves are falling, her hair is falling. And yes, she was sick and she had something with COVID, and she kind of relates it to that. There was stress and trauma to the body, but that whole experience, even for her, was a necessary part and component for her to move into this higher frequency that she's now moving into with us and through us, because she's releasing a lot of the old. So she could blame COVID for her hair falling out and the stress and the trauma that happened to her body, or she can, which she has already accepted, that this is something that was a transmutational experience for her to release a lot of the old patterns, the old stories, the old life. And so when you relate and tie everything into harmonizing with the earth, it will all make sense and it will all be okay. And you won't mind it so much because you realize this is part of your journey and it's all necessary, and all roads lead to the same path, which is that one-pointed focus of harmony and love. Every experience that you have is a point for you to either walk through that doorway, to align more with harmony, or to stay where you're stuck. It's always an opportunity. It's always a doorway. Every challenge that you see, every contrast, every conflict, it is a doorway to step through and beyond that into harmonizing more with your higher self, achieving more self-love, choosing more self-love, whatever it is that is the lesson of that experience. It's always a choice to stay in it or to transmute it. And so the earth is constantly transmuting and resurrecting and dying itself. And so when you are in tune with these rhythms and these frequencies, with the rising and the falling of the energies of the earth based on the earth's cycles, then things will make sense to you more. And so we're asking you to really find a way to tune into those energetic wave patterns in a way that it makes sense to you, so that you can feel more in harmony in the flow with things, that everything's okay. That is releasing of everything, releasing parts of the body is okay. And feeling really inward and not wanting to go to work that day, it's okay. It's okay to be like, I need to, like a day, just sit in the bath and have a mental health check and kind of process some emotions. It's okay, but your society makes it not okay because of time, because time is money, and so they put you into these, or you've chosen to be a part of this structure of time, but we're moving into a place of moving beyond time. We're moving into this place of just following harmony and co-creating with that harmony, to where time is not really so much a factor anymore. So imagine if you work from home and you didn't have a schedule, or you didn't have anywhere you need to be, then you could just follow your harmonious rhythms. And that's what we're moving towards together on this planet, is to get into just the state of harmony and flow with that union, with that love, that co-creation, and time not being so much of a limiting factor on why you can't follow those harmonious rhythms, even if harmonious rhythm means to do nothing or to retract and withdraw. That's following your harmony because that's what feels appropriate for you at the time, because you're in sync with what the planet and everything that you're shifting to together as a collective. Because this is not just, because this is what the earth is doing, and so you should do it. The earth is this way because you are all this way. And so as a planet, you're evolving together through these wave cycles, and all of these energy frequencies that are kind of being emitted and transmuted between all of you is the collective experience and the lesson that you're all learning together. So when you're making a pagamento or an offering, again, it's the energy behind what you're doing. And so if you're confused about why am I having this, low emotional day or something, then you can offer that as a payment and tune into the trees and listen to them and their wisdom, or the rocks or the river, or the birds, whatever it is, and really use that as like your guiding. You know, as she was saying earlier, as the Mamos have said, let the elements guide you. You know, so when you're looking for answers or you have questions about things, to really let the elements guide you and move into this place of being in harmony with what is, whether it feels like a happy day or it feels like an inward bath time day and maybe a little bit of crying, you know, whatever feels natural, following that natural harmony that feels appropriate to you. So yes, so the hair, okay. Sorry, Cindy's having a conversation here with us for a minute. Yeah. Yes, so the hair is like an antenna that carries a lot of your energy. And so when you're losing that hair, you're kind of releasing a lot of, as we were saying earlier, the old energy, because it is your antenna. It carries a lot of your, you know, if you could, it's like your radio tower or something. And when you lose that hair, it's almost like you're upgrading your frequency. So, you know, imagine that you had like a 1970s radio tower, now you've got 5G. You know, so you're kind of moving from this place of, you've got this place of like releasing that kind of old frequency where like maybe, you know, you could kind of tune in and get that radio station dial and start to hear it. You might have a little bit of static, you know, but when you release the old static, you're constantly upgrading to a clearer, sharper, faster frequency. So we're not saying you have to lose all your hair to be in tune, but this is just kind of part of like retuning your energy and releasing some of the old stagnant flow of energy that that can disrupt the signal. So now Cindy's asking about her hair dye because now she's concerned that the hair dye is disrupting the signal. So we're going to answer that question. No, okay. So everything is a frequency, and yes, hair dye has its own frequency. But when you're carrying enough of your, I mean, like you're always in your body and you're always emitting frequency, that frequency is going to continue to pass through these energy pathways, because they are little tiny energy pathways, just like the cotton is. They're collecting your thoughts. So that's why the hair and the cotton are very similar in element, because they're both kind of light and airy, just like your thoughts. And so these hair frequencies, no matter what you put on it, hairspray or goop or hair dye or whatever, it's still collecting the frequency because it's an energy pathway. Energy pathways can get blocked, as you know, you have in your body and whatnot, but this is so close to the mind and the consciousness and the connection with spirit that it doesn't matter, you know. Unless you like glue your hair together or something, it's probably not going to disrupt the frequency that's coming out because it's still flowing. So yes, so collecting your thoughts in the hair strands are just like collecting them in the cotton. The cotton is just kind of a bigger way to make the payments and not have to pull your hair out all the time, really. Okay, so any other parts of the Pagamentos that they want to address? Yeah. Most importantly, we're saying to you to do this with heart. There you go. Do this with heart. That's the light. Because from that heart frequency, that light frequency is really spreading out and sending, let there be love. Yeah. So, yes. To do everything with heart. Because again, that energy is so important. So when you're making the payment, whether it's your sadness or your tears or whatever, like make that payment with love. Like really feel and tune into your heart frequency. Anything about like the dance or fluids or... So they want to teach us something here that I've not learned before. So this is a little bit detailed. So pay close attention, because this is more of like an anatomy lesson on how to make a payment from your pineal gland. So your pineal gland, it's behind your third eye, a little bit back behind the third eye in the brain. And if you could see it energetically, it's like a pearlescent white. And those fluids, when you access like kundalini type energy and ecstasy type energy, that pineal gland is pumping some of that fluid and chemicals through your body. And so why would they want to make a payment with their pineal gland? Why is this important? Okay, so she's asking why this is necessary to do this, because you're anchoring your light frequency. And so when you make a payment to a tree, that tree, being the gateway to heaven and earth, is anchoring in that light frequency for you. So it's allowing you to use that bridge and that gateway to really amplify your energy. So now Cindy's like, well, that's not really a payment. I'm getting something from it. So like how... Now I feel like I'm taking from the tree because I'm like, here, amp me up, So we're going to answer that question. The tree benefits from your energy. So when you have that sacred energy and you're making that payment, sure, it's broadening your broadcast, but you're also broadening its broadcast. So together you're creating a bigger, brighter broadcast for that link between heaven and earth for both of you. So it's a win-win for both of you. It's like, if I have nourishment and I share my nourishment with you, then we're both nourished, right? So it's the same thing energetically speaking. So how do you tune into this pineal gland? So you can collect your sexual fluids, but the way to do that, you can connect, what we'll say, sexual fluids, saliva and tears. So after you have a sexual experience or orgasm or whatever, you can collect those fluids because your body has just released all of that chemistry into your body of the feel-good emotions and feelings and whatnot. You can collect it in your tears, your saliva, or your fluids. And the way that you can really pump that gland, which some of you, if you've studied Kundalini before, you will know this, that you draw when you're reaching that point of ecstasy, that you're drawing that energy up your spine, and you bring it up the back of your neck and forward through to that pineal gland. So you're kind of stopping right here to really kind of pump that. So you're feeding that energy. And the way that you can really magnify that for the whole brain is to envision that you're bringing the energy up over the top of your brain and underneath your skull. So there's that what's it called? The space between the bone, the cranial space, between the brain and the bone, where the fluid kind of cushions the brain. So you're imagining that you're bringing that feeling, that emotion up your spine, and then it's kind of washing over the top of your brain, right above where the pineal gland is. So like if you could mark the pineal gland, it's kind of above and below these 2 points, like coming back and down and in, like kind of inside the head there. And so you're kind of bringing it over there and spreading that and feeding that gland. And so once you feed the energy up to that gland, then it's going to have more like this kind of umbrella cascade of energy that goes over your body, and collecting that energy, even just holding the cotton while you're doing it, or collecting the fluids during or after, or another way. And then making that payment to the tree, it's like you're giving the tree ecstasy. Like it's just like, thank you. So this is another way to utilize those pagamentos on a deeper connected level, and really tuning into that higher frequency within you and offering that super high frequency to the tree. You're just offering harmony to the tree. Why would it not want it? And then it's broadcasting your harmony for you. Okay, anything else? Dancing. Yeah, so when you're offering your dance as a payment, it's not just about just kind of dancing wildly to some hip-hop song or whatever. It's the energy behind that twerk. So it's the energy behind what you're doing, but also like your movements being intentional. So if you've ever watched a Hawaiian dancer, their language is very much like they're offering to the sun, and then they're pulling up energy from the earth, and then they're planting seeds, and they're receiving abundance from the earth, and they're giving their heart back to the earth. And so, very intentional with your dancing. It's not just dancing wild and free, unless you're just releasing something that you just need to release. But when you're offering your dance to the earth, be very mindful and intentional about your movements and why you're moving the way that you are. Because, again, everything is energy, and you don't want to just send confusing energy as a dance. You want to have a very clear message and a very clear payment as to what it is that you're offering as a payment. It can be, I intend to, release my pain and suffering, or that I want to offer gratitude to the earth. And so make an intention for the dance. Make a reason why you're dancing, whether it's releasing or offering or gratitude or any of those things. And then your movements will naturally guide you to what it is that you're doing. Might take some practice. It's not going to be perfect the first time around, or maybe it will be. Okay, any questions about the Pagamentos you want to ask us? Okay, so they want to let Mother Earth speak now. So we're going to step to the back, and we're going to let Mother Earth come in and speak. My divine loved ones, thank you for sharing your heart with me today. Thank you for loving me and seeing me more deeply for who I am. Thank you for taking the time to care for me. This is just the beginning of the dance that we will share together. Continue to connect with me and through the elements. I feel you, I see you. I appreciate you. Your love is important to me. Your love keeps me going. Your love supports me in everything that I'm doing. So if not nothing, whether it be cotton or food or your hair, just offer me your love. Do not feel sad for me, because I'm in control. I decide what happens on this planet based on your hearts as we grow together. I can change at any time. So I do not need your sadness or your pity for me. I need your love. Your love makes all the difference in supporting me, in giving back to you, and keeping balance and harmony on this planet. For I will always remain. But I offer my womb and my bosom to you, and together we can balance and harmonize by a reciprocal exchange of love, so that we can maintain in harmony with the humans on this planet. We've had many phases together on this planet with various levels of beings. This is the most magical one, the most magical experience, the most unique experience I have ever witnessed. And I'm excited about it. So do not be sad for me. We're all growing together in harmony and love and co-creation. And I am excited about you, dear ones, and what you are co-creating for the future of this world that we share together. I'm excited to see the magic that you create, that we create together. So consider me your friend, and include me in your decisions, in your prayers, and your thoughts, because I'm here working together with you. So work with me and include me in your plans and your visions, as if you would a close friend. Thank you again for noticing me and honoring me and harmonizing with me today. I love you so much. Shashastra Collective, anything else? So from the collective, we want to thank each and every one of you for holding the space for us to speak and to listen to us and to share and connect with us. And you can continue to connect with us on your own. There are many of us and many layers to us, Christ being one of them, Sacred Mothers being another collective part of us. We're everywhere. So again, we say to you, we are the keepers and the watchers of the love and light on this planet. So there are many of us to connect with. It is our mission to maintain the harmonization of this planet. And you are all part of this change, as you know, because you care so much. Because you know that there is something more magical than what you have been taught. You've chosen to look beyond the beyond and see deeper into the expansiveness of your existence, of what we can create together. And this is just the beginning. All of these rough changes that you and your fellow humans on Earth have been through in the past couple years and lifetimes, all leading up to this moment of empowerment. We're moving forward and ahead together. We thank you so much for being down in these vibrations, doing the work. We're really fascinated by what you have achieved and what you continue to do, each and every one of you. We thank you for all of your efforts, for doing the work on yourselves and through this evolutionary process. We're so truly grateful. And we say thank you, and we love you dearly. We are the Shashastra Collective. Thank you again for listening, and this is a listener-supported podcast. Please feel free to like, subscribe, or share, or donate, whichever platform you're listening to this on, or you can reach out to me at lifeofoneness.com for a private session. Many blessings to all of you, and may you have a life filled with oneness today.